Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 82 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, this week's update is themed around noise, reducing it, and a whole bunch of ridiculous ways of making more of it. So let's jump right into a toy that I put together most of a little while back, but never quite finished, that I figured, given the theme, which will soon become apparent, that it fit in real nice. So to start out with, we have a classic piece here. It's the Mark 22 Mod 0. Just look at that. Beautiful piece. This is a variant of the SWM39 with a double stack mag, elevated sights, and a couple other really cool features that make it, you know, just an absolutely iconic sort of Spec Ops pistol. So let's start out just firing it as normal here. Just dump a mag. Oh, look at those big chunky sights. Wonderful. So we'll start off with that. So what are some of this handgun's special features? Well, one, you'll notice that despite firing the last round here, there is no last round sort of slide hold open on this. And one of the reasons for that has to do with a special mode of operation. See, this is designed to be an incredibly quiet handgun when operated with its full specs. We've got a special suppressor for it. These were actually deployed with a plug designed for if you're actually going to be coming out of the water with these, to actually not fill the barrel up with water. This was an incredibly effective suppressor for its era. But the special thing we can do here is you might notice that the slide release looks a little unusual here. This is because we can actually lock the slide shut to fire this, to fire a significantly quieter shot. So let's go ahead and rack it once. We'll fire it normally suppressed just so you can hear it. So quiet, but we're still hearing a good amount of environment reverb, of course. And, of course, a whole bunch of mechanical noise from it. Cool. So let's dump that out. Let's load a new mag in, put a round in the chamber, and then, just like you would be releasing the slide here, with the slide forward, we're clicking on the left side of the touchpad or joystick, holding, and then dragging downward. And as you can see, it actually engages the lock on this. So when I go to fire this, much quieter. No mechanical noise, and I've dampened the sound even more just so that it's more prominent so you know you're firing that. Now we have to slide this back up to unlock it, manually rack it, lock it again. Etc. So cool. And of course, if we want some stability for a long-range shot, we've even got a dedicated stock for it. Just pull that up nice there, get that virtual stock stability going. Wonderful. Now, in real life, because of the weight of this handgun would not reliably cycle without the locked breech. I don't simulate that particular type of weapon failure, but it is an important historical note that with the suppressor mounted on this, this would not have reliably fired in semi-auto the way we can here in game. Oh. Wonderful. So there you have it, the Mark 22 Mod 0 Hushpuppy. So while we're on the topic of being quiet, let's take a look. Thanks to and a whole bunch of what you're seeing here today is thanks to Stefan's efforts. We've got 2 new suppressors for you. We've got a soda bottle improvised suppressor. Looks proper ridiculous, covered in duct tape. Of course, it blocks our sights. Wonderful. And then in addition to this, long requested, we have an oil filter suppressor, and I decided to make it on the chunky side. We're just gonna ignore that first shot. Wonderful. So there you have it. 2 new sweet looking suppressors. Man, the material work on this is just gorgeous. Moving along though, but Anton, you might say. But Anton, I'm not interested in being quiet. I wish to be loud. Louder than even my weapon of choice would allow me to be. Well, I have a solution for you, friend. The first one is a loudener. Haha, yes! Perfect. For when you need to get the attention of every single agent in the environment immediately. The loudener. Why? But Anton, what if my gun is already loud? What if I need to make it even louder, more grating and annoying? Well, we've got several options for you, going up in scale. The first, if you need to especially notify a squad mate that you're coming, you need them to flank left, we of course have this handy schwang quality bike bell. Haha, perfect! Not loud enough? Can't hear this over the sound of the machine gun fire? Let's go up a touch. We've got ourselves an attachable bike horn. Haha! But I can't use that. This requires my hand. I gotta take it off the platform. This is just tactically unacceptable. Why not mount a second one right on the barrel? Ha ha! Already the most annoying object in the game. But we haven't hit peak yet. It's not as annoying as it could be. The Sosigs are not standing around just blowing their meaty brains out just because you've walked into the room. I have an answer though. That's right. It's the Meaty League Gaming air horn foregrip. Yes, I have completely lost it this week. So, and you will notice that these will all actually send perceptible audio events into the AI system. These are wonderful for distractions, and the air horn in specific, especially when it's, say, pointed directly at you. Oh, I'm gonna regret this. Oh, that's so loud. It deafens and stuns Sosigs that are close enough. So this actually has some tactical usage beyond. Ow! Oh! Ooh! I totally had my headset volume all the way up there. Whew! So there we go. There are your various noisy attachment toys. Also have, I think there's one other little incredibly crucial attachment that we've added this week. Scratch that, almost forgot. There's a couple more. We've got 2 new Universal Bayonets for you on the goofier side. If you liked the fact that you can put the Lee Enfield bayonet on anything, but you're like, it's a little boring. Well, appropriate to the enemy we're fighting, you can now affix a grill spatula bayonet onto your gun, or you can affix a grill fork, or one on each gun if you're going akimbo. We thought of everything. And then lastly, just in case you looked at a platform like this and you're like, this doesn't express my masculinity enough. It only has several different ways of annoying people. Well, we've got one for you. That's right. Some of you a while back had asked for the tack sack, and I've got something even better for you. That's right. I give you the gun nut. the most appropriate manner possible to let everyone know exactly what you're packing. All right, now that we're done with that nonsense, there was one other thing that I wanted to show you folks this week. In addition to a whole bunch of bug fixes that I'll talk about outside of VR for our flintlocks, I have a new item added that's super fun, added by Stefan, that gives us some functionality that was missing. Namely, that a number of folk have asked if there was a way to more rapidly put a pre-measured amount of black powder into the flintlock without having to use the paper cartridges. Sort of load 1 charge's worth, 2 charges worth, etc. And so we have the handy dandy meat horn, essentially a larger container for your black powder. But what's special about this is that we can pull the top off here. And if I hold the trigger with this up, what will happen is that I will drain black powder into this little vessel here that will measure exactly 1 charge's worth. So I can hold the trigger down, like so. We can see that it's full, and then I can load that 1 charge with my shaky hands, because I'm tired, into the flintlock. And I now have exactly 1 charge. And of course I can still dump some out. Come on, come on. There we go. Wonderful. Dump that out. Same thing as before. Hold the trigger. Fill that up. So hopefully that should help those of you who are trying to use this with a little more precision and perhaps blow it up accidentally a little less. Anywho, let's jump out of VR now and talk about the other things that changed in this update. Yo! Well, I hope you enjoyed all of that goofiness and are looking forward to playing with some of those toys. Every now and again, I just love adding utterly preposterous and more than likely completely unnecessary things, just because there's so many folks who enjoy just like customizing and tweaking out and doing ridiculous things with the attachment system. And Stefan is just a horrible influence, and just I will toss up some truly absurd idea and he'll be like this, and just and have it ready to go shockingly fast. So far too much fun. So what else have we got in this update? I tweaked some things just in regards to sort of the black powder pouring behavior. This week I tried to basically fix all of the major bugs that had existed from last week with the flintlock system, which, as you might imagine, that's a huge permutation space, and so there were a lot of little bugs in it. So the firearms now properly alter the velocity of the projectile based upon the volume of powder that's poured into it. It's a nonlinear response curve that doesn't allow you to jack the sort of firing power up to a preposterous degree, but definitely gives you some reward for using sort of a larger charge, which takes obviously longer to load. The ramrod for it can now be spawn locked. Now, one bug that is still in there that you should expect, not really a bug, more of just it's sort of by design, which is that if you have a ramrod in the barrel and then insert another one into the ramrod holder, the one in the barrel will disappear. This is because when the ramrod is in the flintlock, it's sort of fake. It's not a separate object, it's a sub-object for performance reasons. And so the gun can only have one of those at once. Obviously, I didn't really expect people to be using the ramrod as a projectile as much as folks have, so I would have probably done that a bit differently. When I eventually implement my second flintlock, I'm going to rewrite basically a whole bunch of the ramrod code. I'm going to make it easier to use. I know some people have found it really infuriating with the way it sort of disconnects from where your hand is. It was a first try. Elements of it worked, elements of it didn't. That system needs a scratch rewrite sometime after the holidays, when I've just had some time to reflect on it and approach it in a less time-sensitive manner and a little more carefully. black powder paper cartridges can now only be inserted when bitten off first. I made the gun hat cases a little bit easier to open, added some missing collision sounds, and fixed some broken metadata with the flintlocks. You can now only tap powder out of a sealed paper cartridge. And then lastly, I fixed some scoring issues with the Kappa Coliseum. Speaking of the Kappa Coliseum, the third Granch job is in. This one is less trolly than last week's in certain ways, but I would definitely say out of all of them is absolutely the most challenging, and will absolutely test your knowledge of H3's object catalog, shall we say. It is the firearm testing Granch job, and I look forward to seeing exactly how proficient some of you are at reloading in this game. So that's it for this week. I hope you all have fun playing with the new stuff. We've got one more of these weekly Meatmas updates next Friday, and then remember, there's going to be a whole bunch of gifts for all you folk on Meatmas morning. I actually stay up super night the night before to set it live in time so that everyone, regardless of time zone, gets to actually experience the update on Meatmas Day and not the day after. So I hope you all enjoy that. But before we get there, we've got some extra special stuff coming next week that I'm super excited to show you all. I will leave you for now. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Peace.